you build a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today it's Wednesday. So we got Coach Caren all the way from Toronto, Canada, here to help us with our money mindset. And today we're talking about the right attitude towards money in our business. So make sure you have your pen and your notebook, and let's take some notes and let's talk about our money. Coach
Mhm.
Caren.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us live. And for those on the replay, thank you. We appreciate you tuning, even when you can't come in live, but, tuck yourself in and still get this wonderful stuff that happens here Monday to Friday on the Districts channel, TV. All last week, we talked about, so I'm going to carry back a little bit. The last 2 weeks, we spoke on productivity in your business. We spoke about content creation because all these things lead to your money. Okay. And if you have a lax attitude in those things, you're going to be lacking also in bringing in the dollars. The funny thing about money is it seems like it's never coming and then it seems to just pour all at once. But it's all the things we've been doing before that really leads towards you getting your money. So you need to have the right attitude towards it, not only when it's flowing and coming in, but even when it's not there. So that's the important part. So all this month of September, we can talk about different things about mindset and money and how you're kicking it away from you, how you're not bringing it to you, and all the little things that you're doing that you don't think it has no impact on your money, but it does. You pay attention and it does. So I can talk a little bit about me and I will talk a little bit about the things. So today we're just gonna really focus in on two things. I'm not even doing the third. We're focusing on the focus. We're really focusing on understanding and allowing what must happen. Because this is the hardest part for you as a person and then you as a business person, because I always like go to the personal first because we are the blockage. We stop things, we don't allow things, and then we wonder why it's not happening, but it's really we standing in the way, even though we don't understand at times that we are really standing there. So we really want to really focus and focus on our understanding and allowing things. And number two, we want to build momentum. We want to build momentum. We want to start. You need to really be when you're in the in between and you keep going. And because I talked about content creation before, that's part of what you do for yourself when you think about content. You do content also for yourself because when you get to look back and see how you've been doing, I know for me, I can talk a little bit right there because the thought just came in my head. I know for me, when I on a project and I was walking and running, like I literally wrote down every day I run for how many days, so I can see when I break and I didn't, and ask me like, why didn't I do it? The truth, not the excuse part where this and that happened, but the truth why I didn't do it. Because that truth part is hard for ourselves, and that's why it's hard generally, whether you understand that or not. All right. Any questions, Fran, before I dive in here?
I just like what you just said on that last part where you stop to ask yourself questions. And I think a lot of times we are too busy to slow down, to track, and to analyze. Is that the word I'm looking for? Make an assessment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're too busy doing stuff to make the assessment when we need to slow down and make the assessment so that we can figure out why we didn't do something instead
Mm-hmm.
of just plugging right along and not fixing whatever.
Exactly. 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 Uh, so number one, we were talking about focus, and what Fran said is so true. She just saying what I want, making sure she understand what I was coming from. And it really is so. And you really have to pay attention. And that little part there is the hard part, paying that attention. I remember saying to myself, I want to read a book a week. And then I had to pause and say, okay, Karen, why do you want to read a book a week? Is because you heard somebody read a book a week? And what is it going to do for you? And once I was able to answer those questions, I realized that if I read 6 books for the year is good enough for me because of what I wanted to get out of the books and what I want to take and use for my own purposes on teaching and coaching and just growing me as a person. And I realized if I read a book a week, I wouldn't get that out of it. So I just don't want to read a book a week to talk about a book a week. I want to read, I got 6 books to read and I'm going to read them and really take what I learn and put it into practice. If not, why am I reading that specific book? It's not for me.
That's good. Asking the why we do something, the
Yes.
why we do what we do.
Hmm.
Right, because we all heard, I read a book a week, but what did you get out of that book
Hmm.
every week?
Exactly. And when did you take action? Because you enter the next book. So how did you get to take action? Because if you're only reading, here's the other thing I'm going to talk about. If you're only reading a book, you've done made your money ready. So now you're using this to keep yourself afloat and keep moving through. Because the people who read a book a week is making 10, 20, 25, maybe $100,000 a month already. So their focus is not about now bringing in those dollars. So they can read a book a week. But if you're in a place where you're now bringing in 100 a week, you're just there. You just top 100, and there's no shame in that. This is the other thing. Online make you feel like if you're making $100 a week, you should be shameful, and it's not true. Once you got plans to double that 100 a week, you're okay because you understand. Because the first thing is with understanding how to make the money before you continuously try to make
Mm.
money.
Oh, I like that. Understand how to make it before you try to make it.
Yeah, it's like understand, really understand that. And that really ties into number one, where I talk about focus and understanding and allowing. You must. And if you don't know my story, I'll just give you a tiny bit of it. And as I eat breakfast this morning, it came back to me. And usually when my thoughts come back to me, I know it's something that I need to discuss and talk about for me, for my sake, to reinforce things that I talk about, to share to people because somebody needs to hear it, whether I know who it is or not, they need to hear it. So I need to reinforce it. And when I first, the reason I'm in business today is because I lost my bus tickets and I got the opportunity. And now I see it as an opportunity to either walk or take the bus. Now, when I look back at the story this morning, I start tearing it apart in different ways. I said, but wait, hold on. A week had passed. She should have given me money the second week, right? I don't pay my penance in a week. Why did she leave me 3 weeks without money? Like, no, I'm questioning that. I'm going to go back to that thought, but I was questioning. She saw that I was implementing things and forging forward, so she didn't feel the need to give me money anymore. But the truth is, I lost my tickets and I really ragged myself for the first couple of days. I cried like crazy. I cried like crazy because I was walking. It's 2.5 hours to go and to come back. Two, I had to give back somebody their tickets. And three, I was praying like crazy that I get an answer so that I could figure out how to get tickets. Because my only thing at the top of my head was how to make money to get these bus tickets. I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted to make money to get these bus tickets and be able to travel back and forth because school was my sanctuary. School was the place I was going to learn and make something of myself. So I needed to be there. I needed to do really well in school. That was my train of thought. That's what I was thinking. And now I was granted this opportunity where I have to figure out how I'm going to look after self. And so I cried for days trying to figure this out, blaming myself, upset with the person who stole my tickets. How did I not notice? And then, the answer was, well, you're paying attention to the thing that you were focusing on, which was school. So the bus ticket was in my socks. Could you believe it? It was on my person. And that person find a way to slip it out. That person was slick. I started thinking about how slick they had to be or how intensely involved I was with the subject that they took 8 tickets out of my socks. And I did not notice that this happened to me. And so I went from the crying, I went from the blaming, I went from the complaining to the, okay, what am I going to do? And that question, that focus question that I kept asking, let me tell you, it took me weeks, 3 weeks before I got an answer. So it's day in, day out me asking, what am I supposed to do? I would walk and I'll break down, I'll cry, I'll get back my focus. But the crying was a release. That's why I tell people all the time, crying is a release. So I would be crying, but I was releasing unknowns to me the anger and the pain I was feeling to get me to the answer. That's the understanding and the allowing part of it. And although that seems like a long time, if you're really needing something yesterday, once you allow it, you realize the time is going to pass anyway. If you make a wrong decision, if you're not paying attention to the messages that you're getting, you're going to miss out on something really good. Okay. And to say I was desperately paying attention, I would be lying. I probably was working at about 80% paying attention. But that I think 5% more kicked in when after the third conversation, after the third, really, after she asked me the third time for the orange, right? So I gave her the orange, and I said to her, well, if you want more, you're gonna have to buy. No, it just seems so simple, but that was me listening in. When I focus in on those conversations, I realize over time it's me listening in to what I needed to do. And as soon as the money hit my hand, it confirmed what I was feeling. And it was so powerful that I took it and I do other things with it. That's the other part. You have to do something with it. You can't just take it and say, well, maybe. You got to take it and do something. The action part that I talk about all the time, that was the key, the action part.
So some of you may not know that Coach Caren has written a book that's in in the making. So you might want to pre-order it, and I'm sure she'll give us details on what to do about that. But in the book, she talks about the thing that she just mentioned about having to sell the oranges. I didn't know that you were selling the oranges to get the tickets for school. Because I read the little bit on the little dribbles, but I didn't know that that was why you had to do it. And maybe that could be a part of the story.
Yeah.
I had to do this. We do stuff in order. Okay, I need bus tickets. So what am I going to do? And you sold orange slices.
Yeah. And most times people are doing stuff and we feel ashamed at times to talk while we're doing it because people let us to believe that you're working off your passion, so you don't really need the money. You need the money. Most people are in business because they need the money. Most people start a business because they need the money. They're not coming from a place that they don't need the money.
Right.
But we've been schooled so much on it coming from this place so that we can't talk about the money part. But most of us, not everybody, but most of us start a business because we need money. And most of us is working at 80% or even less on our capacity of earning what we're worth. And this is, I feel, this is where this come in, where your parents or somebody had told you have to work at 120%. And I'm like, I'm knocking that out of the water. If you work at 100%, you don't need that 20. If you're working at 100%, you're doing great. But most of us work at 80. Even me, when I'm working at 80, when I'm working out, I'd ask myself, Karen, are you working at 80 or 100%? And I can tell you that I can fix myself to that 100%. Like if I'm slouching and not pulling in and standing up straight, I know I was working at 80%. Or there was a posture or something the instructor is telling me to do, and I keep saying to myself, I can't do it. And all of a sudden, once I say I can work at 100%, I can do that pose, or I can run that extra. And that's what really we are not doing as humans. And if we do it, we would notice a change. We would notice we don't need the extra 20. We need that 100%. That's what we need. We don't need 120, but it's so instilled in us that so now we're exhausted for that extra 20 that we're not even supposed to put in because we don't have it.
We wouldn't be doing the extra 20 if we just did the 100.
We did the 100, just did the 100, we would do it, right?
And this is good. Like, am I giving 100% to this thing?
Mm-hmm.
To whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
And then when you decide to give 100, you're going to be looking at other things. Am I supposed to be, like, going back to the books?
Yeah.
I can't give 100 for a book a week.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't give it. I would be skimming through. And who am I hurting? I paid, or somebody gifted me, or however I became, possession of the book. And now I am giving this book just 60%. And I'm half-assing. I am trying to get through so I can talk to a bunch of people. I know when I want to comment on even a comment that's happening online, if I'm not sure, I just leave it alone and I come back later. And if I really want to be in the conversation, I come back with what I want to say. The other thing I do a lot with my content, I either write it first in Google Doc, or I write it and then I copy it over to Google Doc. And sometimes I'll go back and read it and say, this is what I really wanted to say, or do I want to really participate in this comment? And if I don't, I take it out. Because if I'm not giving, because I am focused on working on that 100%, if it's not the kind of thing that I want to give, then I don't want to half-ass it. I just like and I move on. But if you have something to say and you want to give it, then you want to give it at that 100%. And that goes for your business. Businesses will say to you, or people will say to you, I can't make it because there's too much, in the marketplace, or I don't know what to do. You know what to do, but the thing that you're supposed to do seems so hard that you don't want to do it. So you start saying, I don't know what to do. And that becomes your go-to phrase. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. And of course, you don't know to do it. But if you said you know how to do it, once you start, you will do more and more of it and you'll get better at it. It's a lot of things I did not know to do when I came. Honestly, did not know to do, but I pick up a book and read. I talk to people, I ask questions, and I take classes because I didn't know honestly to do it, but I wanted to know how to do it. I wanted to feel comfortable in my space. The first time after selling the oranges and stuff, it was easy because there's people I knew, people in my street, people tell people, and I could sell it. And people started asking, what else you're selling? And of course, I didn't know to do the things I wanted to do, but I was in home economic class. So I started learning how to do those sort of things. And I mess up like crazy. But I would sell my mess up. Yes, I sell all my mess up crap to people. Yes. And I didn't lower my price to sell my mess up crap. I explained what happened. It didn't come out well. You guys still want to buy it. If they say yes, I sell it. If they say no, somebody else will buy it. That was a fact. People give me a chance. Sometimes we don't really want to say this, but people give you a chance when they buy your screw up. And then those people come now to buy my good stuff. I want to compensate them because they were there from the beginning. They get extras from me. They get bonuses. My price is still the same, but they get bonuses. Because here I want to thank you. I want to appreciate you that you came about when I was in my learning season, my learning phase, right? You in your learning phase, even if you're the greatest painter, because you haven't sold a painting yet, you're still in your learning phase. Your painting might be good, you might be good, but you haven't sold any yet. And if that's your business, you're in your learning phase because you're understanding now how to sell, how to market, what people really like, what kind of painting they'll buy. You are in your learning phase. And talk about me taking this business now and going to school and selling this in school. When I sold at school, there was nobody in my school that sold anything. And here I am walking in, telling people that I'm going to sell them something. I cried. I felt bad. People made me feel bad. They said, you know, you're poor. They like, you got to be this poor to come and sell something at school. I mean, kids would make you feel bad, and they did a
Right.
very good job about it. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. For weeks, I felt so bad. But the few people who would buy from me, I sold to them. And what wasn't sold out, I got home in the afternoon and I sell to the people who knew me. But I wouldn't give up. Even days when I would just cry, I go to the office, I cry, I wash my face, and I'm back out there selling. I sell through my fears. I sell through my fears.
I like that.
Because I knew at that point this was what's gonna pay. That's what's gonna get me my bus tickets. That's all I cared about is selling to buy bus tickets. Here was the other funny part because once I recognized that I could buy my tickets from the profit, and I walked to the place that sold the bus tickets. It wasn't far from my school. I literally walked there, got to the booth to buy the tickets, and I said to the lady, "Don't bother." And I walked back because by then I had walked already for over 2 months. And I didn't buy the tickets. I walked away and I said, "Are you crazy? What are you doing? What are you doing?" But I didn't buy the tickets. I just didn't buy the tickets because I start recognizing my walking taught me so much more than just taking the bus. Where people are pushing, the bus is full, people are complaining, you can't get a seat. And then I had gotten myself to this place that if I see the bus, I try to outwalk the bus. So, or run the bus. The bus have to go through certain places to all the bus stops. But me, myself, walking has learned different, shortcuts that I can go to different streets. And so by the time friends of mine on the bus get and come off of the bus stop, I'm there before them or at school before them. I used to challenge myself. In other words, I'm pushing myself to this other place. It's the other thing about business. You can't just settle. You have to push yourself to those uncomfortable places. And
Right.
you gotta.
But by walking it, you're meeting new people.
Yeah.
You're seeing other things. You're still getting there at the same time everybody else is without all of the hustle, and you're sitting all like this.
Yeah.
uh, and dealing with whatever goes on the bus, because
Yes.
sometimes the bus is not fun. Just
Mm-mm.
um, that's really good. And see, that's why talking about the right attitude towards money, you recognize that, and it's amazing that at an early age you recognize the things that you did, recognizing opportunity and learning how to manage opportunity. By the time you got to the ticket line, I don't need the bus. I can keep my money
Yep.
and reinvest it
Yeah.
in more product.
Yeah. Reinvested to get more things. I'm telling you, reinvested to get more stuff because that's exactly what I did. I took it and looked at it as capital because now I don't need that money for it. Took away the anxiety of people stealing my bus tickets again. It took away the anxiety of I having to protect my bus ticket. I did become an advocate for people in classroom about stealing bus ticket because it was so prevalent. I had gone to the principal and I said, got to do something about it. And I was advocating because other kids had lost their tickets. And I started talking to kids about it, but nobody didn't care about really doing what I want them to do. But I was still advocating about the bus tickets. I didn't ask a few kids, you want to walk with me? And most people said no. They want to take the bus and go home. The few people, because most people, I went to school, a really good school. So a lot of people, live in the area. It's an area with people with money. I was way out to, you would think, what I've learned in North America, the zoning situation. And I didn't realize we had it too, because I didn't know those things. But there's just a few of us that came from far away that needed bus. The majority of people live there. And if their families weren't working for the government or, didn't need to work, a lot of stay-at-home moms that didn't need to work. So it was a good area. A lot of great things were happening in that area. We were the kids that came. And yes, we were the kids of people, myself and probably a few others, but the majority of people, later on, I realized the parents had money. The parents was situated. That's why they went to that school. I happened to get into the school because my grandmother, my mom worked in the area, I guess previously, and they probably used the information around to get me in the school, right? But if my address I learned after, I wouldn't be at that school. But God always allow you to be where He needs you to be to do the things that has to happen.
Yep. It's a setup.
And as I laugh about it, I realized something. Something happened last week to me about the book Fran is talking about. And Fran's been doing my editing and getting it ready. And there's so many things that come up. I got sick. I had something happen I had to do yesterday, but just different things has come up. And I was looking at a YouTube channel, and the lady was talking about writing an ebook versus writing a solid book, and then also writing it and using it as an ebook. And this book has been delayed several times. And anytime something is delayed, it's because you're being told something, whether you understand what you're being told or not. Understanding, allowing, and letting the process happen. That's what
Right.
we're talking about.
I want to see that YouTube, by the way, because I'm trying to figure out why am I not just pushing on, even on a book that I'm working on. I'm like, what is the deal? You know that you want to go all in and finish it. And the people tell you, okay, you need to do this and you need to do that, but sometimes it's like
loving and understanding. And it dawned on me 2 weeks ago that this book should be a book and not just the ebook. And I start seeing gaps in it that I didn't want to put in because I said eventually I'll write a book. And this would be part of what would be in the book. But the more I looked into it, I just relaxed and I said, okay, I'm letting it be. And as I spoke here, I literally and clearly understand some reasons that some other parts of it would be good. And it doesn't have to be the thickest book, but it really could be mitten up and turn into a book that you hold in your hands and read.
and I came across, see, this is why I came across a process that can make that happen, because I'm going to pull back um, Dick and Jane Build a Business and put it through this process, where the book cover feels like velvet,
Ooh.
and you want it in your hand. I saw it and I was like, oh, and I so we'll talk about it
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
huh,
Yeah, so talk
this
after.
is nice.
Yeah, right. So
And and it maybe that's the reason why we just didn't forge ahead and try to hurry up and make it work. Because I think you need to add the story, add that part about the fact that you had to buy some bus tickets. Tell the story
yes,
of why you had to sell
yes,
the
yes,
orange slices.
yes, yes. Because people needs to know, and that's the other thing with selling. Today again, I was looking at something and I said exactly because those are things they used to do. One of the when we hear about avatar, for example, when we hear about avatar, most people are not sure how to develop the avatar. And when I first started teaching it online, I would tell people write a description about yourself and then sell your idea to yourself and be honest if you would or wouldn't buy it, and then investigate why you wouldn't buy it, because you would
Right.
know right away the kind of person you'd sell it to. It wouldn't be you, it would be a different or a very variation of you. For me in my business, I've always sold the things I would buy myself. I just happened to like that process, and it was an unknown process to me. It's just the kind of process, and I feel I attract those people. So it's an easier way to sell to them because I am selling to them with the understanding that that's how I flow and that's how I work. I'm a person who sell to people like me who understand that it's not about the money, but it's the value that I'm giving them. So when I buy something from somebody, I am not the could you give me $10 off on that kind of person. So I don't want to sell to that kind of a person.
Right.
I don't want the negotiation part. It's not like it's bad, but that's not what I want because I have vetted and went through the process. So I know the value I'm giving you is great. So I'm not willing to negotiate. I know that I am not just talking, just picking up stuff from everywhere and giving to people. I am selling, and I am really selling you what you could do if you just believe in you a tiny bit. What I'm giving you, it's not stopping you. It's the belief that you don't have in yourself that you can accomplish it that is stopping you. And that's big and that's hard. I did a live on Friday talking about what you must do, what you have to do and what you want to do. And those three things really is big in your business. What you must do is one of the hardest things to do, what you must do. What you have
Right.
to do is now the doing part, the worker bee part. And what you want to do, it's the freedom that they sell you. So people sell you what you want to do. So you're excited to get it. When you get in there to do the work, you realize the mustard I have is hard as hell and I don't want to do it.
Oh, so they sell it. So they sell us on the ice cream and cake.
Yes.
They don't want. We don't want the vegetables. What? I got to
Yeah.
do that before I get to the ice cream. Jay has a question. We got Brenna watching, and Jay's in here.
Hi,
But
Brett. Hi, Jay.
he says, "Do you have budget tools on how to keep track of your budget on every payday?" And I think you have several different processes that can help him. So, Jay, I would tell you to reach out to Coach Caren, and she's got some stuff to help you with that, to help you keep on track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we'll put it, we'll put her contact information up so that you can um, speak with her. But this is, we really need to hear the different things, like they never sell you on how much work it's going to take. They
Just like you
always
would buy.
they show you the rosy picture, and oh, this is how you'll feel and this is where you'll be. And then you get in there and you're like, oh, I got to do how many push-ups, how many squats? What? I want to do that.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. if somebody come to me and say, I want to start a business, and I love people who's telling me I want to start a business, because I want to say to them, you need 30 to 90 days to actually get this going. They're like, no, I need my money yesterday. I understand that. But what the 30 to 90 days is going to do for you is set you up on a firm, really firm road. They're going to examine your feeling and all those things to get you there. So that when you go, and that doesn't mean you're not doing work within the 90 days. It just means that you're getting things set up right first. You understand? You're getting all my years of me trial and failure and wanting it quick, just like we're talking about, but understood it took time to get me there. I have to be extremely honest with myself. And I might not like some of my honesty that I am faced with, but I have to just keep it going. You might be the kind of person that you cry every time you made a sale. Go cry. Cry through the sale, but make the sale, right? Go make the sale, because it is something. If you're not marketing and selling, you're not in business. You have to sell every day. If your days are Monday to Friday, then you sell Monday to Friday. If your days are 6 days a week, you sell 6 days a week. All the content and everything we're talking about, you still have to sell. And that's what bringing you money. So if you have the attitude that I must be paid in my business, the right money attitude, you have to have that. You can't be on one hand saying, I'm selling too expensive, nobody's going to buy from me, but you expect to collect money. It doesn't work. You're pulling the money away that was supposed to come to you.
And it's not a magic pill or something. It is your attitude drives everything. Someone wrote in a book, and the book is talking about attitude, the critical factor, but your attitude towards life is going to be life's attitude towards you.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It really is. And if I didn't touch on number 2 quickly before we time run out, the momentum is the other important factor. The start, the in between, and the keep going. You got to understand, and don't lie. Don't lie to yourself. Never mind me, yourself, where you know that you're starting. If you didn't start before and you're not ready yet to start, say, I'll be starting in 3 weeks. And if you've started and things didn't go right, I am starting in 3 weeks. And then start that date. Don't worry with anybody else. Laser focus. I'm starting in 3 weeks. Okay. And when you're in the in between, you're in the in between. Here's what's happening in the in between for those 3 weeks. And you keep going. Momentum. If you know truly you could only do 2 days a week, only do 2 days a week. If you get a bonus day in, fine. But just do 2 days per week. Some people are going to be able to do 5. If that's not you, do the 2. If you got a full-time job and you can only do 2 days a week, do 2 days a week. Because at the end of the year, it's 52 weeks in the year. And if you did 2 days a week, how much did you do, right? 104 times you touch your business and you will see the reward. And you don't have to wait 5 years to see the reward, because if you're honestly, focusedly putting in what you're supposed to, you're going to see the reward. And as I tell Terrell the other day, when it comes to product, you can see a reward faster than service-based businesses.
Right.
Not that one is better than the other. It's just that because people will buy product faster than a service, you will see it faster. So you have to understand that about your business. That doesn't mean you have to go find a product to sell. that doesn't mean also you can't find a product. It just means you have to know where you're putting your energy and that you can continuously do this. It's like when you're setting up a budget, you can't just set up a budget and forget it and go away. That's not how it works. You have to work within the budget. You have to be flexible with your budget at times, but you have to have your staples, your fixed budget, and your flexible part of the budget where you can move things around but make things happen. And it has to work for you, not me, not Fran, not anybody else, just you. And you can't look at other people and where they are and what they invested in. Yes, you can whine and complain to yourself that I wish I'd started at 20 or 40 or whatever, but you is whatever age you're at the moment, and you can't change that age. So you have to work within where you're at and all that you can do for you, your future self, your family, your future family. You're doing all these things for that. But first, self has to really be looked after, so you can look after this business, so you can help those. And what else is there to come?
Right. So we've been talking about the right attitude towards money. Coach Caren has done a phenomenal job sharing some things today. So if you're just joining us, you can always go back to the replay and watch it again and get the nuggets. I took some notes. Understand that one point that I got is understand how to make it before you try to make it. You need to understand what is it going to look like. And I think a lot of people just jump off and start running, and I'm going to make business. I'm just going to run and jump into business, and I'm good, but not having a solid plan. 30, what did you say? 30 to 90 days
Mhm.
for them to get into it so that you can, but you'll be on a strong footing
Yes,
instead of, okay, I'm in business, and you're just sitting there.
exactly. You print business card, you got flyers. Now what? What do I do? Nobody's buying.
Right. And so just that was one of the points that I got. You have to get the understanding before you start trying to do the work.
Yep, yep, yep.
And then my other point that I got was sell through your fears.
hmm It is there. It's gonna beat you up. It's gonna punch you out. It's gonna be in a fight with you. It just wants to see if you want it bad enough. It
Right.
is going to let people come in and show up and show you out because it's telling you, do you really want it or are you just talking about it? Do you really, really want to do it? Do you honestly want to do it? And some things you might not really want to do, and it's okay to not do it, but do what it is you know you want. It's okay if you decide I want to write a book, but then it's too much work. I don't want to write the book anymore. It's okay. Nobody knew you was going to write a book, and if you told a few people, so what? You change your mind.
Oh, you mean we can change our mind?
Yeah, you change your mind. You're gonna get those things done, but that's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to do. You want to just sit down and sculpt glasses. That's what you want to do. You have to understand it. If unless you have enough money to pay a sales rep to sell your glasses, you're gonna have to learn marketing and sales also. People are gonna tell you your glasses look like shit. It doesn't look good. You're gonna have to hear that sort of stuff and be okay with it and actually fix it or say this is the glass I made and then be bold enough to say I'm going to sell the glass the way it is. And then you sell and you cry, you whine, you do whatever it is you need to do behind doors. But you get out there and you put your face out and you do it because my product never looked like my mother product. And my mom made these sort of things, but she wasn't around to show me how. So I had to learn through trial and error. And when she came back and she showed me how to do it, her style, I never adopted because I recognized it wasn't what I wanted to do. And we fought a little bit about it, but I kept to what I knew I wanted. And because I kept to what I knew I wanted, we talked about it the other day. I was a better businesswoman than her in terms of I made way more sales than she did. I just did because I was focused on this is how I want my product to look, and this is what it's going to look like, and this is how I'm selling it. and I got a sale, and she let me know. She says, Karen, you were in business. I was just selling something. I was never in business. I needed a job to pay my bills. I was just selling something. You were in business. I watch you and I often say, she's a businesswoman. I'm not.
And we need to recognize whatever it is about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Are we business people or are we just trying to sell something? We have to make up our mind to figure out what that's going to be.
And just let it be. Just let it be. Don't be.
Right.
Don't. If you're a person who want to go to work and get a steady paycheck, by all means, go to work and get a steady paycheck. Do not let people tell you that you have to be in business. You only are in business if you want to be in business because business is hard work. It's not, I'm going to get a paycheck and everything's going to be okay. No! Business is, if you've been working hard at work and you think that was hard, you open a business and you will work not 4, 6 to 8 times harder than getting up and going to work and receiving your paycheck. Let me repeat that.
I think you need to add another chapter to the book, The Truth About Business, the truth about opening a business. Nobody tells you about the 6 to 8 times much more work that you have to do. They just tell you, okay, you need to get a business. And some people need to stay at a job.
Stay at a job. stay at a job, make your plans, because you can make, if you're smart or if you budget. People don't like the word budget. I'm not trying to wrap that word up anymore. Budget is important.
Budget is
No,
budget is
nobody. It's
necessary.
necessary. It's important. It's not I may need it. It's I want it. It's you have to have it. The country couldn't be run without a budget. You could not have a business without a budget. You could not run your life properly without a budget. And if you're doing so, you're lying, not to me, but to yourself. You are going to, there is a budget is about reporting. Budget is about checking in. Budget is about understanding your finances, where the money really goes, how much coffees I buy. I'm not telling you you mustn't have coffee. I'm just saying once you understand it, once you understand what budget it means, once you get the whole gist of it, you start looking at your life differently. And it's not because you can't have it. You can't have that vacation. You could have the vacation. No matter how tight the budget looks, you mightn't be able to
Right.
have it the year of, but you can have it the following year. That's all.
What I'm seeing is that you can actually do what you want, but it comes by using the budget. Because if you try and get what you want without the budget, there's going to be a lot of problems.
Yeah, you're going to be pulling over here. You're not going to have enough over there. You can do this. You can do that. I remember when I was in college, I had people laugh at me because I'd be in a group and we've got group work going on. Everybody's buying from the cafeteria, and I pop out my sandwich and my homemade juice in my bottle, and people are like, the guys are like, I could have bought you lunch today, Karen. I'm like, sure. But I didn't know you would buy me lunch, so I came with lunch. Why wouldn't you buy me lunch? And we'd be having, I'm like, you guys can't be distracted from, but we'll be having these conversations. I'm like, how many lunch you bought this week? And they told me, I'm like, this is how much you spent on lunch. And the guys were like, no way. And of course, by the time we added up and how much coffees they had and gas in the car, they're like, no wonder I have no. Yeah, that's why you have no money, because you didn't pay attention. We were in college, we college students, and you're broke every month.
You're not paying attention to your money. That's why people are broke. Brenna says the people tell you they only hear it takes money to make money.
Yes, yes, yes. People say that all the time, and they're not lying, but they don't tell you what really they mean about it. It's like if let's say you have a job really and truly, and you love your job, but you really and truly also want to start a business. Part of you is starting to bank your monies in a bank account totally to start the business with. When I was younger, when I started business, I used to loan myself money. I never had debt in my business. I used to loan me money. I went to the bank to find out what's the interest, and then I would pay back myself the same interest. Because had I borrowed from anybody, I would have had to pay the interest. So I would lend me the money. I hear that you can't do that. That's hogwash. I will lend me the money. I had lend me the money when I started importing, exporting. I lent myself $2,000 to start that business, and I paid myself back $2,500 because I loaned that money for 3 months, and I gave myself the $500 because it was a loan.
Okay, so Coach Caren, we were slated to have some people come on, and if you're available on Monday to come in and sit in on talking about pricing it right.
Okay.
Because people there is so many ideas about pricing stuff, and okay, my purse should be this, my jacket should be that, whatever. But on Monday, we were going to talk about pricing it right. And I do believe we had some people that were going to come on and join with us. I got to go back and look at
right
to see who that was, but you have to be a part of the conversation. You're probably going to upset us, but we don't care. So Monday, we're going to be talking about pricing it right, how to price, what to consider. Mm-hmm. Maybe not telling you how to do everything, but right. What to consider when pricing your products, your services, and that type of thing. Because if we don't price things right, then the budget's going to be jacked up.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And it's true. We can't tell everybody unless we sit down and talk to them individually. We can't know the product. We have to know what goes into it. Some people don't even know what goes into their product. So in their heads, they're like, I'm ahead. I'm making money. At least it's 50-50. I'm okay. And then when I start tearing it apart, I know I upset people. But they're happy after. But initially, it's not really that I'm upsetting them, but they just feel bad about themselves that they didn't take that into consideration and they didn't understand all the expense costs. Like somebody reached out to me and they said, I want to start this business and I want to do this, this, and that. And would you be part of? Well, it's money they're asking me for, really. And I said to them, here's all the things I need you to do. And the person got back to me. They said, so are you in? And like, here's all the list of the things I asked you to do. You didn't do them, but you want to know, you can get my money.
Yeah, you want me to invest in that, and I can't even see what you're doing. See, that's part of the. A lot of people have gone into it, like your mom said, they sell stuff, but they're not in business.
Yes.
When you're in business, you are tracking your money.
Mm-hmm.
You are doing the financials.
You have to.
Are, you're going back and looking at where you spent money.
Yes.
How much was your product? What is your, I have this thing here. What's your product mix? Meaning, what are the items that you're selling?
Yes.
Okay. Then what are my margins on these products? Like you did with the orange.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have one orange. It has however many sections.
Yes.
How many sections did I need to sell to get oranges back? You need to know all of that. Most people don't do that.
They don't do that. They don't understand transportation. They don't understand if it's involved transportation. They're not thinking about the labor hours. They're not thinking about whatever it is they need to think about to understand how to price right. So that's when they hear somebody's pricing really high, they say to themselves, well, that person is selling. Customers will say to you, I only pay $25 an hour here. How come you're charging $60 an hour? That person that's charging you $25 an hour understood that they want to make $25 an hour. What they don't understand is that they didn't make $25 an hour. They probably made $15 an hour if they were to pay attention. They did not make $25 an hour, but in their head, they think they made $25 an hour. And if they were thinking so, could you imagine if they hired somebody, what's going to happen to their mind psyche? Like at the moment, they panic because like I can't pay the person any more money. But that's because initially you were only making $15 an hour. You just didn't understand that you were making $15 an hour. In your head, you said, if I make $25 an hour and work 8 hours, that's $200. I mean, who gets paid $200? I'm way ahead. Like, you don't understand how I'm ahead. And I'm like, okay, so then you pay for, okay. Oh, and they're like, oh, Caren, why did you just have, just let me just go.
I was in my happy world. Why did you say something? Yeah, that's what we do. We want you to run a profitable business.
That's fun to run.
The key word is profitable. And if you don't know your numbers, it's not going to be profitable.
You got to keep the books. I know it sounds boring, but you got to keep the books. For the number of people like me, we're happy to do it. But I understand if Matt, I even have this flyer going. I had to put it out there. When things pop in my head, I do. Talking about teaching kids math, but having them really understand. I wanted to do it online. Teaching kids math with the understanding of how it works in real life. Not math for math's sake, but to understand how it works in real life. And I think if kids were taught math that way, they wouldn't. Most people that don't like mathematics would start liking it because they'll understand that that is what they need for their lives to be comfortable and then really fancy. Like everybody loves TV and watch how people live fancy, but you can do it too. You have to understand your numbers. You can't wait to win the lottery or hope somebody leave you an inheritance. How you do it is going to dictate how you live your life. And you can live a really awesome life if you understand that math don't really have to be, you teach a market work and it's okay, but understand math for life. So, yeah.
That's a great place to wrap up on the right attitudes towards money.
Money, yes.
You will share this with someone that might need to hear it or invite somebody to listen to it. And if you need to talk to Coach Caren, you can reach her at Island Girl Hustle on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to her and ask her for some help.
Yep.
We don't have to do this by ourselves.
Yep. You book a 30 minutes and we can talk about where you're at, what you want to look into, what you want to look after at that moment. You don't have to worry about the long stretch of me and you coaching for months if that's not what's needed right now, but you just want to get some clarity and stuff. I offer that Friday, so I'll offer it here again. 30 minutes. You tell me, I don't want to book coaching with you, Coach Caren. I just need to clarify some things. And for a short period of time, I'm offering that. No selling, no upselling. Just 30 minutes. We sit and talk, whether it's your budget, whether it's you understand something with your business, some kind of strategy you want to do. You sit and you get that, and then you get to decide what you want to do from there.
Okay, Jay, that sounds like something that you may want to ask about, especially with your question for the budget. And anyone else who's looking to get clarity, we need to move forward. 2020 is coming.
Oh man, it's running down the road. It's approaching. It's coming down the road. And when Fran posts this on Facebook, I'll also put in my calendar for the 30 minutes so people can go in and book if that's what you want to do. Whether you're here live or you listen to us on the replay, it will still be offered to you. You get in there and we just get you to that next step. And I'm saying this so that you don't feel afraid that you have to talk to me, book coaching client sessions with me, and right now maybe your purse is not there or your wallet. So that's why I'm offering it. This 30 minutes is strictly for maybe a strategy that you need to implement, or look at your budget, or understand where you need to place things. Those are the things you can ask me. And yeah.
Okay, I think that is great. Thank you so much, Coach Caren. Woo!
Hey, sorry, I know I throw a lot out there today.
Oh, no, and it wasn't a lot. It just means that we have work to do. We need to eat our vegetables.
Yeah, I like that. You need to eat your vegetables
before we can have the cake and ice cream. We need.
Yes.
So thank you everybody for watching. On behalf of Terralina Austin, who is traveling right now, she's having fun, and so we're going to shout out to her. And just like Terry says, don't forget to go to the front of your
own line.
With Robin Shimizu and Erin Sumn, and talking about happy, healthy habits. Bye-bye.